Well, hello there. It's your host of Hoffman's Hunting Heritage, Bill Hoffman. And I just wanted to welcome the new audience members of the Outdoor Podcast channel. That's right. Hoffman's Hunting Heritage is now featured on the Outdoor Podcast channel every Saturday at 6 p.m. Now, what does that mean for my current subscribers and listeners? It means there is a bunch of new shows I am excited to tell you about. If you remember back to one of the very first shows I did, I talked about the Up North Journal being a huge influence on me when it came to outdoors podcasting. Guess what? The Up North Journal is featured on the Outdoor Podcast channel as well. So just take your device and search Outdoor Podcast channel, subscribe, and you'll get a new show sent to you every day. It's pretty cool, guys. We got turkey hunting shows, fishing shows, archery shows, outdoors lifestyle shows. There's something for everyone on the Outdoor Podcast channel, and everyone now includes Hoffman's Hunting Heritage. So, hello, fans from the OPC. Hope you enjoy this show.
Welcome to Hoffman's Hunting Heritage. Load your quiver, camo up, and join us for another great episode of Outdoors Action. Hoffman's Hunting Heritage is brought to you by
Advanced Takedown Tree Stands, Langia,
Sunrise Archery, author W.C. Hoffman,
and Tried Grunt Calls.
Here is your host, Bill Hoffman.
Hi, this is Jerry Widener with Hunter Safety System, and you're listening to Bill Hoffman on Hoffman's Hunting Heritage.
Hello and welcome back to another thrilling episode of Hoffman's Hunting Heritage. I'm your host, Bill Hoffman, and on this week's show, I have, well, he might be the closest thing to an internet legend that I've been able to talk to. Mike Behrmann, the living room buck hunter, is on the show. Mike, what's going on, my brother?
What's happening, man?
I just really wanted to say thanks for coming on the show. You know what? It seems like lately I've had a run of Ohio boys, but you guys are treating us up here in Michigan okay, so I appreciate that.
Nope, not a problem at all, buddy.
So most people are going to know you as the living room buck guy, especially in the outdoors industry, and we're going to talk about that buck and that hunt and exactly how that all came down eventually. But first, I want to know a little bit about you. What got you into the outdoors, and what kind of stuff do you like to do?
You know, growing up as a kid, I'd always go out with my uncles and my cousins, squirrel and rabbit hunting. On an occasion, we'd take a road trip down an old dirt road and, you know, go after snakes laying on the cool gravel dirt roads or what have you.
Now, was this all down in Ohio?
This was actually in Kentucky.
Okay.
Corbin, Somerset area, deep in them, you know, hollers down in there.
All right. Well, I may have misspoke. Do you consider yourself a Kentucky boy or an Ohio boy now?
I'd say a mixture of both, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, is it Buckeyes or Wildcats? Which is it?
I'd say Buckeyes.
All right. Well,
yeah, I'm more of a Buckeye guy, but
we won't hold that against you too much because it's not important what team you root for as long as you're wearing camouflage in October. You're on my team.
That's it.
That's right. So what kind of hunting do you like to do nowadays?
I do a lot of turkey, a lot of deer. Besides that, you know, I do got a big trip coming up in August. I've been looking forward to for a long time. It's been on my bucket list as far as hunting alligators.
Oh, wow. Where are you going to do that at?
I'm not for sure the actual city, but it's up northern Florida, part of Florida. Yeah. I got invited down there in August, and then once we do the alligator hunt, he's going to take us out on the hog hunt too, so that should be interesting.
Oh, that is cool. You know, we did an episode here with our mutual friend Kristen Mahoney and Taylor from the Whitetail Widowmakers. They just had a heck of a gator and turkey hunt down there in Florida. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's guaranteeing me a 12-foot bull gator with my bow, so we'll see what happens. I got all 100% confidence in this guy. He's a great guy.
Well, you know, anymore, those gators are not that hard to find. So if you got a guy that's got the property and the know-how, and he's willing to put his balls on the line to make a, you know, guarantee like that, sounds like you're going with the right kind of guy.
Oh yeah. So,
well, that's
I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Believe me.
Yeah, I imagine. Now, how's your turkey season going?
Well, I'd say good and bad at the same time. I got in my motorcycle accident.
Yeah, you're a little hobbled
2
up.
weeks ago. So I'm kind of wobbling around, and I'm out of work right now because of the doctors haven't cleared me to go back until they look at my leg, which hopefully after today she'll clear me to go back to work and I can try to get out. Today was actually the opener for Ohio, but I wasn't able to get out, of course.
Yep, and then I saw, was that your brother that was taking out your son for the youth hunt?
I call him my brother because we're that tight and that close, but no, that's a good friend of mine, Ronnie.
Well, that's really cool.
He actually took my boy out the last 2 days. Yesterday he had him out, had a bird within probably 10 feet from my son, but my son couldn't move quick enough to, pull the trigger off on him. But, it's his first year out turkey hunting, of course. So he got to at least experience a bird being that close to him.
And with turkey hunting, that's half the battle, man. To hear that drumming and that spitting, and, when they get that close to you, and you can actually hear their wingtips dragging in the sand.
Yep.
I often compare it to, when you're goose hunting and you're in a layout blind and the geese come and they land right on top of you, and you can hear the knuckles in their wings clicking and clacking. Those certain things that stick out that make a vivid memory, and now your boy has that too. So plus the experience.
Yep. Yes, he does. So
now
he loves the deer hunt, though. I will tell you that he enjoys the deer hunt, and he does kill some big deer.
Now, how old is he?
He is 13 now.
So yeah, he's right up there. He's providing food for the family, putting it on the table, I bet.
Yep. Yes, sir.
That is absolutely cool. So, if you're the living room buck guy, what's he going to be? Does he get like the front porch or the kitchen buck?
Last year we almost had Mom's brand new car buck.
Oh no.
We got her a brand new car not last season, the season before, I'm sorry. And he told me, so why don't we mount it to the top of the car, Dad, and see what Mom says with both legs folded out and strapped to the top of the car. So I don't know if she's going to dig that one, dude.
Well, she got a brand new car. Well, this year she got a brand new kitchen, didn't she?
Yeah, we did a bunch of work to our kitchen, so she's happy about that.
So I think this fall that kitchen's going to need to get broken in.
Oh, yeah, definitely. For sure. Be the new kitchen buck or what have you.
Yeah, that's really cool that you're passing on that heritage, man. All the time I talk to our friends, and it's always, most of the time it's the uncle or the dad or the older brother that got us in.
Yep.
So, and it's just funny that, if we want our way of life to propagate and to continue on, we really are the stewards that have to pass it on. And, my daughter's 8, she shoots in the archery league with me. And, my little boy's only 4. But, I just, from father to father, man, thank you for getting them involved in the outdoors.
No, hey, brother, I tell everybody I get more of an enjoyment of not only taking my son out, but taking other kids. I've taken his friends. I'm working with a boy now, Brady. I call him my little buddy Brady is what I call him, but Brady Williams is his name. He's got Down syndrome. We went out last year, hunted a few times, didn't get a chance to see anything, but with a young man that has Down syndrome, let me tell you what, you would think that it would be a challenge putting him in a ground blind and sitting all day and breaking for an hour for lunch and then coming back and sitting the rest of the day with him. That kid did a awesome, excellent job with sitting and being patient. And now he's got something to look forward to as far as, if he acts up at home or because they have that, a Down syndrome kid has that anger.
Yep.
Kind of an anger problem, I want to say. Hopefully that's the right way to put it out. So when he acts up at home and he doesn't want to listen, his mom and my buddy, which is his dad, says, hey, if you don't straighten up, you ain't hunt with Mike. I'm calling Mike and you ain't hunt this weekend. And that kid will walk a straight line and listen to everything they tell him to do. Yeah,
that's the motivation, grown up.
We need more people like you and I doing that.
Amen.
And I get it. Everybody wants to kill that big buck. Like my son's first deer, when he harvests that and all my buddies seen it, they're like, dude, why didn't you take your bow? It's like when I go with my son, I don't take my bow. It's not about me. It's about him.
Mm-hmm.
And his first deer was a 7-pointer, which sounds small, but let me tell you something. This is the biggest 7-pointer I've ever laid eyes on. He scored 146 inches and something.
Well, that's a hell of a 7-point.
That's a heck. Yeah. It's a giant 7-pointer.
Yeah.
I mean, the body of this deer was over 300 pounds. Next to my living room buck, which is a giant rack with a decent body, his mount next to his makes mine look puny.
Wow. Yeah.
But now when he goes out with me, he we'll see 120 or 126 inch, 8-point. He has the option to harvest that deer if he wants, but he'll look at me and say, "No, Dad, let's wait till next year. He'll be bigger next year."
All right.
And that's another thing guys need to realize is, don't just let them shoot the first thing that walks out, because as well as I do, that bigger buck's going to be at the end. And with him killing a bigger buck, he's not going to want to shoot them littler ones, and if he does, that's fine too, but he does. He has a different perspective as far as going out with me and not just shooting the first thing that walks out. He gives them time to grow those antlers and to become a 3 to 5, whatever, 4-year-old buck.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I sat down here and in the recording studio and got you on the phone and thought we'd be talking about, our hunting adventures, and didn't really plan on breaking down the family aspect of it, but I am glad the show is taking this direction, because it's something that you and I both care deeply about. Now, you did mention the living room buck, and we're going to go ahead and tease that a little bit, because that is a heck of a story. Not only the hunt itself, but how the buck ended up in your living room, and then actually the media explosion after it. So in segment 2, we're going to talk about that, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
When only 5 days is your season, you need every advantage you can get. The new Takedown from Advanced Tree Stands, a 3-piece modular design with its own integrated ratchet system, gets you up in a tree faster, safer than ever before. Takedown from Advanced.
Langia.com, your home for unique products that fit the outdoors lifestyle. Langia.com is the leading online social marketplace for all the needs of today's busy outdoorsmen and women. With a carefully curated list of unique products from all American companies and small businesses, Langia is truly uniting the outdoors. Next time you find yourself shopping for gear or gifts, make sure you start your search from the comfort of your tree stand, hunting blind, or bass boat with Langia.com.
Make Sunrise Archery and Outdoors your source for all your archery needs. Bows, crossbows, and accessories from Elite, 10-Point, Mission, Matthews, Bowtech, Parker, and Prime. At Sunrise, you'll get the best customer service from a team of specialized professionals. You can even try it before you buy it and learn from the top archers. Come to the professionals for all your archery needs. Sunrise Archery and Outdoors, Torrey Road, Fenton.
Once in a while, a design comes along that defies convention and challenges the way we think about performance. Missions are built from the ground up to embody the power and precision of an apex predator. Explore the unique features that make Mission easier to draw, maneuver, and shoot accurately.
There was a time when man could communicate with all animals. But we have since forgotten their language. Tribe Grunt Calls is a new company with an old heritage, providing affordable but high quality and great looking grunt calls to hunters like you. For more information on how you can join the tribe, visit tribegruntcalls.com.
Welcome back to segment 2 of this week's episode. Here is your host, Bill Hoffman.
Hi, my name is Dr. Brian Hall with True North Chiropractic, and you're listening to one of my favorite podcasts, Hoffman's Hunting Heritage.
And we are back, segment 2 of this week's show here on the Hoffman's Hunting Heritage. I have my good friend Mike on the line, the Living Room Buck, the legend of the Living Room Buck. If you follow outdoors media at all, you've seen this picture. You might not have known that it was my buddy Mike in the picture, but it was, and here is the story. I'm not going to say much. I'm just going to turn the mic over to him and let him tell you about how he harvested this thing and the rest of the story.
All righty. Hey, guys, what's up? It's Mike Behrmann. I've been through a lot past couple years as far as, harvesting the bucks I've shot at, not finding them. The last one I shot, we knew he'd fell and went to go look for him, and somebody ended up stealing my stands and ended up stealing my deer, of course, and I almost give up, but the only thing that kept me going was my boy. Took him out the following year. He harvested a big 7-pointer, which scored 146 inches or so. So it kind of brought my spirits back up and started hunting the year after that, of course. Didn't have no luck at the beginning of the season, but we ended up taking the first 2 days of gun season off. And the first day I went out, ended up shooting at 170-something inch 10-pointer, clean miss. Kind of got my hopes back down because, it's gun season. Of course, I should have been able to drop that thing, but it didn't happen. But that's hunting. Ended up getting a little discouraged, slept in the next morning. Called my buddy up about 9:30 and told him, hey, I'll be at your house around, 11:30, noonish to pick you up. We're going to head back over to the same spot because this is the second or third time I've seen this 10-pointer. And if he's there, we should have a chance at him again for the fourth time, hopefully. So we ended up picking him up, getting over to the spot where I harvested the living room buck at about, a little after 12. Right around 12, maybe. Excuse me. Got halfway back down the trail once we got there and realized I didn't have my harness. So I hurried up, ran back to the truck. And I just told my buddy, I'm just going to sit on the ground. I'm going to post up probably, 50, 60 yards from where my hang-ons were and sit up on top the highest ridge to where it overlooks everything. And I can, have a shot from really any angle. Ran back to the truck, grabbed my chair, and I told him instead of going in the direction of where I've jumped up this 10-pointer 3 or 4 times, I'm going to walk in the trail where he's going to be hunting at, set him up, and then cut around to where hopefully I don't scare nothing as far as walking in and jumping them out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of glad I did that because around right before 2:00, I started rattling and grunting. Hit my bleat can a couple times just to, make some noise in case something was on the far end of the property. They'd hear it, hopefully get curious and head my way. Right around 2:00 or so, my buddy started trying to grunt. It was his first year out. And not to make fun of him, but he sounded like a sick cow. So I told him, I said, dude, you got to stop grunting. You sound horrible. And he kept telling me, it ain't me grunting. When in all reality, it was him grunting. He ended up telling me the truth. So I'm sitting there and I rattled again. I grunted a couple times and I look up at a couple ridge, about a ridge over from where I'm sitting at. And I see a giant. Of course, I didn't know exactly how big he was or how many points. All I knew is he was just a brute of a deer coming along the top of the ridge across from me, of course. So I hurry up and I text him. I said, do not grunt no more. You sound horrible. And I got a monster coming my way. So we're sitting there and I'm sitting there. This deer gets about halfway across the ridge and he stops. And of course I'm shooting a 12 gauge, Remington Express 870. And I'm sitting there, and all I could see was from about his front, almost a partial of his front shoulders up to his whole, neck, to his head, to his rack. No shot whatsoever, and this deer just stops. He looks left, he looks right, and it might have been just a matter of 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but it felt like it was 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
He's looking. He heard me doing the sequences as far as rattle and grunt and using the bleat can, but he didn't. Once he got to that point from where he's standing and I'm sitting, we both can basically see everything in these valleys. And we're sitting there, and I'm holding the gun on him, of course, waiting for him to take 2 steps, and I would have shot. He was probably 120, 125 yards out at the time. And I'm sitting there, and the more I sat there, the more I started shaking. And I'm like, Mike, don't screw this up. What can I do to get this deer's attention without him actually knowing it's me doing it or whatever? So I basically sat my gun down, took a deep breath, got a hold of myself, leaned over, picked up my bleat can. I turned that can over one time, just enough to where he could hear something in the direction of where I was sitting to get him to start coming out. As soon as I hit that bleat can, that deer immediately started walking and cut straight down the hill at an angle. He got probably 60, 70 yards, and that was all she wrote. I shot. I ended up hitting one lung. His legs folded. He basically slid down the hill at me, ran up the creek. I tried to fire off another round, but I ended up missing, of course. And then he ended up running up the creek. He tried to make it up this little incline on one of the hillsides, but he couldn't. He was hurt. And all of a sudden, he just kind of stopped, slid back down, and laid there. And I thought, okay, he's done. Ran and got my buddy. He's like, did you get one? I said, dude, I just shot a giant. I don't know how exactly big he is, but I'm telling you, I've shot a lot of big deer. This deer is a big deer.
Nice.
We come back, and we're looking. He's like, well, where was he laying? I said, dude, he was just laying on a hillside, and now I don't see him. And we're looking, and all of a sudden he says, man, he's right there. He's still alive. I said, are you kidding me? And I looked up, and I said, sure enough, he was, but he was hurt. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't go nowhere. So I had to hurry up and put another one in him, of course. And then after that, his all 4 legs basically just folded straight out. And
that was all she wrote.
That was all she wrote, and he was done. And I started running. My buddy's like, why are you running? I said, dude, I've shot, and I hate even talking about it, but hopefully this opens up a lot of hunters' eyes to not give up, because hunting it's not easy. You run through bad and good times at the same time, and some of the bad times, let you down, and you want to give up, but you can't. So I run over to get him, and as I'm running over, I'm like, dude, I've lost 6 or 7 bucks that range anywhere from high 140s to, I know 2 of them would be pushing 170s. Not that I'm not an avid bow hunter. I shoot every day. I'm consistent. I don't get nervous when the deer come out. I really can't explain why I haven't found those deer in the past, but all I knew is that this one was down, and I was finally getting my hands on my buck.
Amen.
And he's flipping out, because I'm like, I can't even breathe. You know what I mean? So I get up and I start counting the points, and I'm hollering at him like, dude, you are not going to believe what this deer holds right now. I was guessing, from not doing a whole lot of measurement and actually getting to see 200-inch deer ever on a day-to-day basis or period, I was guessing 180s, high 180s. And then started counting the points. He ended up having 25 points. Of course, I called my wife, and every time I shoot a buck and I call her, I ended up never finding my deer. So her, of course, she's doubting me. Like, did you really get this one? Do you see it physically? Do you have it in your hands?
Like, here we go again.
Like, here we go again, Mike. Don't, hopefully you don't screw this one up.
Well, not only that, but she's she's your emotional support for those down times.
Oh yeah. She does help me out, and she knows the emotional side of me as far as how much time. Dude, I take off the whole month of November for the rut, for my vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I take a week off in the summer for family, and then I'm literally bow hunting from daylight till dark, not leaving my stand. I pack a lunch. I mean, I invest a lot of time, and with all the deer I've lost in the past, I mean, you know, of course, I don't not like the fact that she was doubting me, because I was kind of, I'm always doubting myself when I don't actually physically see the deer drop. But this one here, I knew would drop, and I had it in my hands.
So how do you go from that moment to taking the picture?
So basically, we got pictures in the field like everybody would, of course, you know. But when you bring something that big home, you want to call everybody in the state and have them meet you at the house and make stops on the way home to brag and to show it off. So I ended up calling a handful of buddies, and they brought their girlfriends and wives out. By the time we got home, you know, it had started raining. It was flurrying. Every which way I tried to get pictures of this buck, and I still haven't. I've got the pictures still of what it looked like. And honestly, I can't believe I haven't really posted them just to show people, hey, this is what it would have looked like compared to the living room buck picture. I'll actually do that. I'll do that tonight for people to where they can actually see what it would have looked like if I would have posted just the ones outside.
Okay.
But we're all sitting there and we're putting the 4-wheeler lights. We're putting car lights, truck lights. We tried every angle and it just wasn't happening. Out of nowhere, she says, Mike, just bring him in the living room. Open the sliding glass door. Bring him in the living room. We got hardwood floors. You know, it's cold. The deer was already field dressed, so he had everything out of him, of course.
Right.
She said, just bring him in the living room. Let's get some pictures. I said, who does that? I said, I mean, I know we're kind of country folk, hillbilly, you know, whatever. I said, but we got a nice house. You know, people are going to look at us like we're morons for bringing a deer in the house.
Like you got a deer in the house, a transmission in the bathtub. You know?
Exactly. My Harley parked in my bedroom, you know. And out of nowhere, my buddies and even their wives agreed. They're like, Mike, I mean,
yeah, do it. Good lighting.
We've never seen it done, and that's an awesome wife for letting you bring it in somewhere dry, and you'll get clean, crisp pictures with it, you know. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm about ready to say yes to this, but as long as you're cool with it, let's do it, you know, whatever.
And
so we get ready to drag it, and then out of nowhere, she says, "Oh, lay him on a tarp. We don't want to mess his hide up for when you mount it." You know, because she was excited for me, man. She really was.
Yeah.
She knew the enjoyment I had of knowing that I finally, because I almost did. After all the deer I lost, the only thing that really kept me motivated to pursue hunting was my son killing that big 7-pointer, of course. And I guess that's the whole, the main thing to my story is don't give up, because you never know what'll happen.
Right.
You know, I never thought in a million years a 200-inch deer would walk out, you know, but my deer ended up scoring 220 inches and 2/8.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
That was the gross. The net score, of course, was 216 and 2/8, I think it was.
It's just a monster. And by chance, if you're listening to this and you haven't already Googled the living room buck, the pictures pop right up. But to get a better look at it, I actually suggest people hit up your Facebook page, which is, go ahead and give us the Facebook page for the living room buck.
It's just the living room buck.
That's right. You put that into Facebook, it's going to pop right up. You're going to see a picture of Mike holding a giant 200+ inch whitetail inside his living room. And, you know, the picture went viral, as, you know, some things do. You said you've shot a lot of big deer. I never met you, you know.
The picture definitely went viral.
Yeah.
The other cool part of the story is, I don't know if I actually mentioned it to you, but I had 4 or 5 guys send me trail cam pictures of this deer. That my buck has been seen within a 15-mile range of where I shot him at.
That's really cool. Yeah, I had no idea. So if you want to see, you know, some outside pictures, some in the field pictures, and compare them to the living room buck pictures, and Mike might even have some of the trail cam pictures if you want to see him on the hoof, head on over to Facebook, type in the living room buck. It's a great page, and you can really just see the man, the myth, and we'll call the deer the legend.
I would call the wife the legend. We call the wife and the deer the legend, because she does, you know, I killed the deer, and it was her idea to bring it in the house. So
absolutely, you know.
And I am married. I promise everybody, because that was the main thing I got from a lot of people was this guy can't be married. There's no way.
No, he is. I've seen proof from ATA. His wife was there. So
yep. Oh yeah.
Well, cool, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing that story with my audience. It's and not only the story of, hey, it's cool, your wife let you bring a deer inside the house, but the story of there's a lot more to it. The perseverance, picking your chips up when they fall, whatever analogy, even picking your bootstraps up and get back in the game, jump back on the horse, whatever.
Yep.
We're not always in this to kill the biggest deer. It's nice when we do. But, you're a better person because of what happened to you with those other deer.
Yep. Yes, sir. It makes you look at a different, you look at it at a different perspective. If you're as far as my shoes, I know there's many hunters out there that's killed and lost giant deer. All I can say, guys, is just don't give up. I mean, you got to keep at it, keep keeping on, take your kids out there, maybe that might help as far as them shooting a big deer, bringing your spirits back up, because it definitely helped me.
Yeah, you want to fuel your fire, get a kid involved in the outdoors. It's amazing what it'll do for both of you. So, again, thanks for coming on the show this week, Mike. And I like to end the show the same way every week. And I think after today's episode, it holds true even more. And I always tell people to get outdoors. It's a wild place to be. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Hoffman's Hunting Heritage. Get outdoors. It's a wild place to be.